So right now, the Midwest is facing some of the coldest temperatures on record. Now, it's thanks to a phenomenon known as the polar vortex. Now, I'm located here in Michigan, so in this state, we are facing wind chills that are up to about negative 50 degrees. So it's really, really cold. And there are places around 30 degrees or negative 30 degrees. Chicago is having dangerous conditions where people can get frostbite, even if they've been outside for only a couple of minutes. So it's really, really bad, right? Now, whenever these kinds of strange weather events happen, there's always those people who come out and decide that it's a great time to claim that there's no such thing as global warming. Because obviously, look how cold it is outside. There is no global warming. How can it be global warming if I'm freezing, if I'm cold? Lovely, right? Now, look, we've had these people for quite some time, right? Thankfully, they're a very vocal minority. Now, unfortunately, they are backed up by giant billionaires, oil barons and coal barons and things like that. But nonetheless, usually it's just a small subset. Most people know better. However, this time, it's actually the President of the United States saying that. Now, on Monday, Donald Trump had tweeted, quote, "In the beautiful Midwest, wind chill temperatures are reaching minus 60 degrees, the coldest ever recorded." I think that's the coldest in the last 25 years. But maybe it is ever recorded, so you might be right about that one. He said, "In coming days, expected to get even colder. People can't last outside, even for minutes. What the hell is going on with global warming?" Yes, that's a real tweet. It's supposed to be warming. God, he's got an iPhone. Why can't he use the spell check? And he says, "Please come back fast. We need you. Come back, global warming." Well, you good news, Trump. Global warming's already here. And I'm going to explain later how global warming, climate change, has actually made this worse. Now, the response, of course, from social media, and this is what I love here, ranged from helpful, right? Like, oh, maybe you should, here's how to get yourself educated, right? To amazed that someone could be so incredibly dumb. So let me read off some of my favorite tweets here. Robert Berry, trying to be helpful, he says, "Hey, Donald Trump, read a science book." All right. Kenna Brown says, "Time to stop confusing weather events with climate change." That would be helpful. Muzzle, a little confused. He's like, "Wait, once again, I thought this was the parody account." Oh, I love that. Just Blue says, "The U.S. president should know the difference between weather and climate." Well, I agree. And G says, I can't believe you just publicly say these things online." Now, there's more. Angie says, "My sixth grader could explain the science of global warming to you, but I'm afraid he'd use big words you wouldn't understand." So now they start to get a little bit more savage, with Andy Cohen saying, "You tweet so much dumb crap that it's hard for us to keep track. Can you slow down a little?" And Mark Holmcomb says, "Oh, you sad senile windbag, you." Now, those are some fun tweets, but one of the best actually came from a member of the Trump government itself. So that's the National Oceanic Administration, right? Or NOAA. And now that's Atmospheric Administration, by the way. They tweeted out simply, "Winter storms don't prove that global warming isn't happening." Now, why do I love that? Well, because it's a member of the Trump government, and I love the little graphic they added onto it. Can we take a look at that? Oh, that's awesome. That is an actual graphic tweeted out by NOAA. Oh, that's great. That's something that you would show a child. Which I guess in this case, accurate. Now look, will that help? No, of course not. Because Donald Trump, he doesn't care. He doesn't care about facts or logic or science. No, and he has no intellectual curiosity whatsoever. He is an extremely ignorant person. He's actually proud of that ignorance. And the truth is, the planet is getting warmer. I mean, look, when they looked at scientists did, when they looked at the predicted daily mean temperatures globally over the last a few days, it shows that the world is warmer than average, right? Now, Australia right now is experiencing a record hot summer, and just last week's temperatures were seen hovering above 115 degrees Fahrenheit. That's really, really hot. Now, of course, again, there's weather and climate, right? Weather is short term. Climate is long term, especially when it comes to trends. Now, planetary warming, you're going to be shocked to find out that it doesn't just create hotter temperatures. According to extensive research, warming, or a warming world, creates more evaporation and moisture in the atmosphere because most of our planet is water. Now, that actually, more moisture actually ends up creating stronger storms. And actually, also, when it's winter, now, global warming does not mean winter goes away, right? What it does mean is that during the winter months, there will be stronger storms. So, and especially stronger snowstorms. Not only that, but a warmer climate also leads to more polar vortexes making it into the United States. So the very thing that these people cite as proof that there is no climate change, ironically, is an effect of climate change. In fact, scientists explain that the polar vortex, what that is, it's a freezing mass of cold air. Now, normally it sits above the North Pole, and it's usually trapped there by westerly winds from something called the polar jet stream. Now, those westerly winds, they kind of keep that in place. However, when excess heat from the rapidly warming Arctic hits the stratosphere, it splits those winds, right? It splits the winds that hold the polar vortex in place over the Arctic, which means that vortex can start to move. And where does it go? It goes south. It goes south into Canada, Russia, or in the United States. So, oops. That's what happens according to science. And it is all thanks to disruption of the climate, thanks to climate change. But, of course, as far as Trump is concerned, well, he assures us that he is a very stable genius, and that he knows more than these overpaid scientists that get lots more in grant money than, say, the executives of Koch Industries and ExxonMobil. Or, Murray Energy, which, by the way, used to employ EPA Director Andrew Wheeler, as a lobbyist. Weird. No, every day this idiot is in office is a day that we lose that we could do something to mitigate what is to come. And so that is even worse climate change. We already have climate change baked into the cake. We already have massive changes coming. We have 12 years to avoid even worse changes that could be civilization ending. So we got to do something about it. And first, we need people in office that are actually smart, that actually understand science. And so we got to get them out, and we've got to get a Green New Deal. We've got to get the politicians in who actually believe in doing something transformative. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.